Okay. The recording has started. Okay, so first of all, let me just say congratulations to everyone on being selected as a manager for any of the upcoming weeks. This is just a brief meeting just to give you guys an understanding of what to expect. I'm just going to let Kenny in here as well. Oh, Kanisa. Oh, Kanisa. Okay, now I see. Hi, Kanisa. Don't worry, we didn't start yet. Okay, so just to give you guys a brief. I can use it. Okay. Yeah, no, we didn't start yet, so I'm just going through the document. Can you just see my? Can you see my screen at the moment? Eh?
Nope.
Okay, let me see. Why not?
Nope.
Okay. I'm just gonna say share entire screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is just the document that I shared with you guys. So I'm going to go through it. I'm not going to go through it line by line. I'm sure some of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just give you guys also an idea of what to expect. First of all, during the week, I'm sure some of you have already been managers before. I think Kanisa, you've been a manager before, right? Okay. First things first. Okay, the new thing that about the national weeks is everybody that attends a national week or is part of a national week, they have to attend a CSA safeguarding workshop. So I don't know if any of you have already gotten this sort of information from your union yet, but what they do in the safeguarding workshop is just that they give an outline of protocols. Sorry, I'm just trying to get Kenny logged in here. Okay, yeah. So the safeguarding workshop is just things that they've put in place just to ensure that that I don't know, they sort themselves out from a sort of a safety point of view, child safety and so on. So it's just something that the unions will be doing. So please ensure that you attend the workshop. It's usually online. But please just make sure that you do attend it in your union, and please make sure that the scorers that are coming to your week also have attended this meeting or that safeguarding workshop as well. It's very important. I don't think any one of us wants to be responsible if scorers do not attend that kind of workshop and they now go to a national week. So please ensure that you attend it and the people that are officiating in your week also attend. I just want to check, did everybody receive or anybody receive the list of scores and the contact details for the weeks?
Yeah, on my side, I did receive them. But the contact details, yeah, I didn't, I'm not sure, yes, yet. I have few that I don't know, actually. I think it's only two. Yeah.
I think you may be a bit better because it's all CGL scores and you from CGL. So it's
I don't know Akib's number. That's only Akib that I didn't know the number. Yeah.
Okay. What I will do is that I will share all the contact details for all the scorers that are attending your weeks. Please create your own WhatsApp groups for your week, just so that you can communicate with them leading up to the week. Okay, I'm just going to say contact details of scorers. Okay. And then when you get when I send that contact details, I'll also share the rooming list. So you will have a rooming list already for the weeks. I haven't received all the accommodation names, so I only know of one place where they stay at. I'm not sure yet of if where they put. So I'll try and get those details for you. So I'll share that with you once I get it. But for now, I don't have any of that, any of those details. So I'll get you guys the contact details of the scorers attending your weeks, and I'll share with you guys the rooming list. The rooming list will also have the payments for the scorers. So you'll see, you'll see on that list, it will give the rates for the scorers for their whole week. It'll also give you the meal allowance amounts. So the meal allowance is 185 per day. So that is the day before the tournament, and then the final day of the tournament. So then, but it's all in an Excel document. But I'll share that with you. So just so you are aware when the payments are made, is that is what the amounts are for. But it's clear in the document, so you'll see it. You'll also see on the payment, you'll see that the scorer managers they get paid 6,000 for the week, and then also they get paid the food allowance. So you'll see all of those amounts there. If there's any amounts on there which you are not sure about, please just let me know. There is a data amount. Well, there is money set aside for data, but I'll go through that just now. Okay, so please just make sure once you get to all the details of all your scorers that you do that you ensure that they have attended a safeguarding workshop. That's like the most important part. So please just make sure that they do attend that safeguarding workshop. Whether it's at your union, I know CGL are having theirs on the 22nd. It's also online. So if people want to attend that one as well, please just let me know, and I'll share that link with you. Okay, Kenny's just having some connection issues.
Kish, before you go forward, don't we have another one tomorrow?
I heard about. You mean the safeguarding workshop?
Yes.
I think that's for the national weeks, the managers. So I don't think that's for the match officials or the part of the LFC.
Oh, okay.
So I'm. Oh no, are you talking about the departmental meeting at 10 o'clock?
No. The one at 6 tomorrow. The safeguarding one at 6 tomorrow.
How will they have one when the game is on?
Okay, that's what I want to. Okay, let me just verify the date because I thought it was tomorrow at 6. Do you remember? Let me just verify it before I go.
Because I know there's one on the 22nd at 4:30.
Yeah, because and it's you who sent it to me. Let me just check my email again and verify it.
I'll check because I think the one next week is from 4:30.
Okay. Let me just. Okay, it's not a problem. I'll just check and verify it. You can go ahead in the meantime.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so please make sure that your scorers do attend that safeguarding workshop. Okay, when we talk about the information packs for the scorers, normally a lot of the stuff is done online nowadays. So you might get a brochure, a tournament brochure for the week. So, but if you don't get one, it's not a train smash. Normally the tournament brochure just has the player names and the contact details for the people involved in the tournament, as well as the venues where the venues are going to be played, and like closest hospitals and so on and so forth. So that all of that stuff, please just try and get that from your LOC, so that the LOC should have that. It might be electronic, but if it's not, just make sure that your scorers are aware of where the grounds are. They have the fixtures and they have the team lists. So the team list is important just because they need to make sure that the spelling that the lists that the player names are correct. Okay. Confirm your scorer details and dietary requirement. Dietary requirements is a big one. So please just make sure that you do confirm that. It is in the document that I will share with the scorers' contact details, but just confirm again with the scorers their dietary requirements. Usually, most of the caterers are halal, but please make sure that they are halal or whatever, that they do cater for your scorers' dietary requirements, and that they do know where that scorer is going to be. Because I do know, like for example, with the USA B week, I think it's going to be lunch packs sent to the grounds. So please just make sure that you are aware of where those lunch packs need to be sent, and the caterers are aware as well, so that there's no issues with it. Okay.
Will do.
The score sheets for linear scores, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Please make sure that you guys organize score sheets, so worksheets and summary sheets for scorers, and make it that they have score sheets for the entire week, and if they score in both. So just assume that they're going to be scoring manual the whole week. Even though I'll chat about it later, some of them will be doing online. Please just make sure that they have enough summary sheets for the whole week. Scorers need to bring their own stationery, so you don't supply that. You just supply the score sheets. The next point of arranging files for the teams, that is something you can do with regards to the scorers for that team. So what I would do, or what I normally do, is every morning after scanning the score sheets, I give it back to the scorers, and they put it in the file that I give them for the week. And when the tournament is done, or when the week is done, they then give that file to the team. So the originals have to go back with the teams, because they have to have it on hand when they're doing their own reporting. So when they do their own reporting at the end of the financial year, or for the EPGs and so on, they need to do their own reporting. So please make sure that the teams do get the score sheets at the end of the week. Wherever you set yourself up as the scorers manager, please just make sure that they have photocopying and scanning facilities for the score sheets. So you might not need to make photocopies of the score sheets, but you will need to scan them. Printing playing conditions for each scorer, that is a very nice one to have. If the scorers can have the playing conditions in a hard copy as opposed to a soft copy because they're going to be scoring on their phones, or they might not have their laptops with them. So having a hard copy of the playing conditions is very important, just to make sure that everybody is aware of what the playing conditions are, and just so that it's a good reference point for them. Arrange a basic first aid kit. So this is something normally, yes.
Sorry to disturb you. The playing conditions.
Yes.
Did you see the copy? Because it's not like 2 pages. So I must print them from my side, or I can print them at the venue.
Most likely, because you most likely going to be staying at the hotel, or for Usabi, they're going to be staying at the hotel. So what I would suggest is that you print them at CGL. So okay. Speak to your union. I did speak to Brett as well. So they very willing to assist us with printing. So if there's a day you want to go there and print the playing conditions, you can do so.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Even the score sheets as well. Yeah.
No, I think I'll do everything at once. Okay, no, thank you.
Okay. Just with regards to the first aid kit, just speak to the LOC. Normally they have these first aid kits and that kind of stuff sorted. So it's not something that you need to do on your own. Speak to your LOC, because there should be some sort of first aid kit or basic first aid kit around. So you can maybe sort that out with the LOC. Confirm the payment arrangements for scorers. Please, this is very important. So when I send you the contact details for the week, I'm also going to be sending you who the umpire manager is. So usually what happens is that all the cash is sent with the umpire's manager. So please make contact with that umpire's manager and know what is happening with the payments. There has been weeks before where they haven't sorted out the payments, and the payments have to be done via EFT. If that's going to be the case, please inform your scorers beforehand and get clarity on it beforehand. They don't try and rock up at the tournament trying to get cash, because you'll see the amount. It's very difficult to get like 80,000 Rand cash. So please make sure that all of those details are confirmed beforehand. You will see that all the weeks, and I'll share it also in the contact details, there are scores that are allocated cars. Please make sure that the scores that are allocated for your week, you know what where they're going to be landing or where they're arriving from, and what time. Because what might happen is that maybe they're going to be landing at the airport, but the teams might not transport them to the hotel where they're going to be staying. So please just make sure that you do arrange with all of your scorers, and you know what time they arrive in, and who is going to be allocated a vehicle, so they can travel with the people allocated that have been allocated a vehicle back to the hotel. You don't want to be doing back and forth trips. So try and arrange that so that all the scorers can be transported once, maybe from the airport, if not through their teams, from the airport to the hotel or wherever they're going to be staying. So please just confirm those details with your scorers. All the weeks are limited overs weeks, so therefore DLS will be used. What I will suggest is that at the end of each innings, on your scorers group, the scorers need to tell you what the scores are, and if they had any changes in the overs, you will then send the DLS to the managers and to the scorers, to the team managers and to the scorers. I would suggest that you only send them the over by over, just because it's a lot of games that happen at once. So please make sure during that innings break that you do send up the DLS to the teams, just so that they are aware of that. Rebecca, you and Kenny are going to be dealing with the USA week, so that's the university week. So I'm going to share John Wright's number with you. He's the director of the USA Cricket, and he'll inform you of who the team managers are. There's usually a WhatsApp group that they have for the USA weeks, so they might just add you to the WhatsApp group. So when you send that DLS, please just make sure that you send it through to that group and to the team managers and scorers, just to make sure that everybody gets it. You don't want to have a situation where games are affected by rain or whatever it is, or affected by flying ants, and all of a sudden they're looking for the DLS. So please just make sure that you do supply that for every game.
Okay, dear.
The DLS version to be used is DLS 5. So it hasn't changed in a few years, so it's still DLS 5. So just make sure that the laptop that you're using to send the DLS is DLS 5. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are aware, but we are going to be scoring on the CSA app for the national weeks. So I'll chat to the CSAs as well regarding that. But for the CSA app, please make sure that your scorers have the login details. If they don't have login details, refer them back to their union. For example, if a scorer from Boland is going to Kutso's week and they don't have login details, refer them back to their union, so Boland scorers, to get login details, because Boland need to add them on their system. So please make sure that all the scorers have login details, and if they don't have login details, they have to go back to their union and sort it out that way. They're going to be scoring on the CSA app. For the scorers that score on the CSA app, they need to do a worksheet as well. So it's not a thing of they doing only the app. No, if they're scoring on the app, they need to do an app and a worksheet. So please just make sure that that is also done and that you don't have any issues with it. Rebecca, I know that your week doesn't have an assessor, so there's nobody just checking up on the scorers. So they might just try and get away with that, but please just make it clear to them that they need to do a worksheet as well as the app for that.
Okay, I'll tell them. Thank you.
All righty. Usually this next point, thankfully nowadays we don't have to worry about it too much, just because we now usually stay in hotels or guest houses or whatever it is. So we don't need to worry about scorers bringing their own bedding and that kind of stuff. But please just confirm when you get the accommodation details, just confirm that they don't need to bring anything. You will also be required to submit tournament feedback forms. I'll send you guys a template of what the feedback form should look like. This is just a feedback from the scorers on how the week went and how your managing or scorers managing went along the week. It's just for feedback, just so we can see areas we need to work on or what needs to be improved going forward. You will see that I do say that ensure that there's space for 3 scorers per venue. The reason being is because it's going to be one manual, so one manual that does a worksheet and summary sheet, an online scorer that's going to be doing a worksheet and the app, and then also another scorer who is most likely going to be a Pitch Vision or an ITV or whoever they are, and they're going to be doing the live streaming. So please make sure that the grounds have that can accommodate 3 scorers per venue. And I know that in some cases you have to make sure that there is enough shade for these scorers, and also wind is also a big thing as well. Usually the people live streaming, they will sort out their own power, but it is nice to if they are close to a power outlet. Again, just once again confirm the lunch arrangements. If it's going to be packed lunches or if they're eating at the venue, you'll get all of that information from the LOC. And then team photos. Usually the umpires and scorers for that week, they take a team photo. It's normally on the day of arrival. So just confirm with the LOC if there's going to be team photos and if there's going to be a scorer's photo as well. So then you can inform the scorers as well. Okay, on the day of arrival, hold a scorers meeting just so that. Wait, there's AJ joining us. Hi, AJ. Yeah, so we've gone through a bit of the document so far. We just on the arrival day. The meeting is being recorded, so I'll share that with everyone after. But AJ is pretty experienced. I don't think I'm speaking stuff that he doesn't know anything about. So yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Sorry, man. I was at a Dolphins game, so rushed home. Thanks.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Black.
AJ, just so that you are aware, the most important thing is that they are going to be scoring on the CSA app for the national weeks. So please just inform that make sure that the scorers are aware of that, and they do have login details. If they don't have login details, refer them back to their union. So if a Gauteng scorer comes to you and says, I don't have login details, you refer them back to Gauteng, and then they have to sort it out, because we have to sort out, the union has to generate their own login details for their scorers.
Okay.
All right. On the day of arrival, I hold a meeting with all the scorers just so that you can iron out any questions or any issues they have with playing conditions. Sometimes they do change playing conditions before the tournament starts based on, for example, weather conditions. So, and also, Rebecca, unfortunately for you, you might have a change in playing conditions and fixtures just because for USA, teams pull out or they don't arrive the day before the tournament. Like they've already planned to have 8 teams or whatever it is, but you will see that maybe only 6 arrive, and then all of a sudden playing conditions change and fixtures change. So please just keep that in mind that it might happen. It has happened before, so it might happen again where teams don't arrive for the tournament or for the week.
Okay, so that will happen on the day, or maybe they'll let us know a few days before.
No, I've seen it happen the night before games start. So just be prepared for that. So I've seen it happen the day before. So most of the time it goes along fine, but I have seen it where teams do not arrive for the week. And then the day before the tournament, they have to change all the fixtures and playing conditions. So you'll have to deal with that closer to time, I think.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, then also just tying up with the monies for the scorers and the data. So there's I think it's 1,000 Rand budget for data for scorers. This money is meant for the scorers and for yourself as well. It's just to cover any data costs. So the data costs would be for the scorers for the online scoring, and for any communications, like for example, sending the DLS via the WhatsApp or whatever it is. So it's just to cover that cost for the scorers. It is up to you on how you want to do it. So if I know there's a lot of scorers that have contracts, or there's a few scorers that have contracts, and you can't buy them data because they're on contracts. So you would have to sort of give them a sort of the value of the data for that. I'll work out. I'll find out from Johan how much data the apps usually consume. But normally we work on about 1 gig for the whole week. So I'll get confirmation on that of how much data the app uses, and then we can work from there of what the sort of the data amount would be for the scorers. Okay, moving on. Just confirm the transport arrangements. So as I mentioned, is that you will also see in the contact details I'll share with you for the scorers that people are allocated a car. It's usually 3 cars. So then you need to also arrange with the people who have cars allocated to them of who's going to be driving which scorers to which grounds. Please also just liaise with the umpires, because sometimes what will happen is that a ground might be very far away, so the scorers would just travel with the umpires instead of it being one scorer having to travel, drop the scorers off, and then come back. So just try and work that out according to your fixtures and see where who's going to be transporting the scorers. Ideally, we do not want the managers or the assessors having to transport scorers, just because you guys have your own jobs to do during the week. So we do not want to add that part of transport scorers and bringing scorers back to the hotel. So please just try and arrange it that there are vehicles available for the scorers, and that they do know where they're going to, or who they're going to be traveling with. Okay, the meal times and so on. Usually you'll get that kind of information from the LOC. They'll tell you what time the breakfast is, but you should get that information beforehand. Meet with the umpires and get the standing umpires' names. This is just to make sure that everything is spelled correctly on the score sheets for the national weeks. The key point here is going to be the stats. Okay, so now that we're going to be scoring on the CSA app, all the stats should be online. I will also contact Johan on your behalf regarding the login details you'll need or may need to pull the different reports. So I'll chat to you, Johan, about that, because maybe the selectors or the organizing committee will want certain stats on, like for example, QOO reports, or they want they want the number of players of color that have been playing matches and that kind of stuff. So I'll chat to Johan about that and see how we're going to go about that. Of what reports you have access to and what reports they might need. Usually all of the stats is online, so it's just on the link, and you can get all the stats there. What you would be required to do is at the end of play, usually in the evenings, you will have to send through the stats for the tournament to the LOC, as well as, and I'll do it and I'll touch on it later on, is doing a summary of the day's play. So you'll need to do a summary of the matches that took place, the results, and then the top performers. I'll also send through a template of that. Let me just make a note. Just so that you are aware, and then you can use that as a template for your week. Okay. Also, just inform scorers on the arrival day, the day they arrive, about how the payments will work. Usually, and this is not what you can make up your own mind. is that usually the food allowance is paid up front, so that's paid on the day of arrival, and the scorers have that so they can buy the different meals because they don't get supper. They get that allowance to buy their own supper. So they would then get that money on arrival, and you can then distribute those amounts to the scorers so they can buy their supper. With the daily rates and so on, you can work around how you would want to structure that. There are some managers who prefer to pay that upfront, and there are other managers who prefer to pay that on the last day. I would advise to not pay it on the last day, just because teams do like to finish off early and then leave for home immediately. So maybe I would suggest try and pay the scorers on the night of the second last day. So if your week is 4 days, try and pay them after the day's play on day 3. But you can make your own judgment on that. I do know that we're dealing with with scorers here who are notorious for wanting to party or whatever it is. So please just take that into consideration when you thinking about paying them. That you do not pay them too early, because you do need them for the whole week, and you do need them fit for duty for the week. Okay, so during the tournament, you will be required to do the DLS calculations, like I mentioned, and you send that via your email, via WhatsApp, whatever medium they choosing. Okay, and then also you would also need to attend the LOC meetings before and during the tournament. So the LOC meetings, this is where they discuss the fixtures, so they discuss where they decide on the venues, and they might change times. So please make sure that you attend all the LOC meetings, and you are part of the WhatsApp groups that they have, just so that you get all the information from those meetings. Obtain the umpire allocation from the umpire manager every day. This is also to help you. Well, it will also help you when you have to sort out the traveling for scorers. So if you know that these umpires are allocated vehicles and they're going to be allocated to these grounds, maybe the scorers could travel with them with those umpires. So try and get the umpire allocation list from the umpire's manager the night before. And then, as I mentioned, you will need to compile the daily results summary, but I'll send you guys a template of what it should look like. Usually, you try and have a meeting with the scorers, like basically an informal meeting every evening, maybe when you guys are having supper or whatever it is. Try and have a feedback session with the scorers, or allow them to come to you with any issues they have, just so that you are aware and then you can plan ahead for the next day. Just try and get that sort of feedback from the scorers on a daily basis, just so that you can sort out any issues quickly. The certain weeks will have assessors. So far, the only week that doesn't have an assessor is USAB, so there won't be an assessor there. So with the assessor, they will need to check the score sheet. So that's not going to be your job. The assessors will need to check the score sheets that the scorers have or submitted. They'll check it against. They'll check it how the scorers have performed, and give it back to the scorers on what they need to fix. Once they have fixed everything, they will give it to you. You need to tell them where they must hand it in and what time they must hand it in to you. And then once that's done, then you scan the score sheets. Please scan the summary sheets and the worksheets. Please scan them every match for both scorers. You scan those and you upload it. Maybe we'll make a link to a Google Drive or something. So try and upload them to a Google Drive, just so that we can access them after the week is done. Also try and keep it on a flash disk as well, or on a laptop, just as a backup in case you can't upload it. The reason being is because 3 months later, 4 months later, 5 months later, I do get asked for those score sheets and I don't have them. So please make sure that you do scan every score sheet from every scorer that's scored in that day, and then usually give it back to them in the morning before they leave for their grounds, just so that you don't keep it for too long, and you give it back to them so they can put it in a file and hand it to the team. Also try and sort out the drinks for the scorers during the matches. Usually the teams will supply them with drinks as they would with the umpires, but just confirm that with the LFC as well, that they do supply the scorers with drinks, especially if it is a hot day and they play in a longer format. Okay, so basically that's it in the nutshell of what you're going to be doing as a scorers manager. Is there any questions you guys have or anything that I haven't touched upon that you want me to clarify?
Yeah, Kishan, I may have missed the first part with the online scoring.
Yep.
So maybe just if you could just give us pointers, type it out to us and send it out to us, especially with that login details and things.
Okay.
Or we're going to have minutes from this meeting, that kind of a thing, you know?
The meeting has been recorded, so I'll share that.
Ah, perfect. Alrighty.
Yeah, but just also, AJ, on that note, for the online scorers, so you will need to work that out with the assessor as well of who's going to be online on which days. Every scorer
No,
needs
definitely,
to do manual.
Mm.
Every scorer needs to do manual and needs to do online during the week. You guys will need to sort it out, discuss it of how it's going to be done. I will chat to the assessors about that as well, but you guys would need to sort that out amongst yourselves of who is doing manual, who is doing online. Usually day one, you try and find out who is comfortable doing manual, and those people do manual, and then whoever is comfortable doing the app does the app for day one. However, over the week, they do need to do both. Usually we look at a 50-50, so they need to do, if it's 4 days, they need to do 2 days of app and then 2 days manual. And if it's if it's 5 days, then it's not going to be possible to do equal. So you try and do 3 days of manual, 3 days of app, depending on what they prefer to do. So just try and work that out with the scorers or with the scorers assessor. But whoever is doing online needs to do a worksheet too. Okay, that's the main thing about the online stuff. All right.
Can I ask something, Kish?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't have an assessor. So who's going to do the whole thing, the assessing and everything?
So there won't be any assessing for your week, but that's also the reason why we have Linda at your week as well. So he'll be assisting you. But Rebecca, we'll chat offline because your week has also changed a bit. So there's already like changes in the number of games per day. But we'll chat offline about your week.
Okay. Okay, good.
Sorry about that. Is there any other questions or any other item that needs clarity from your point of view? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. It wasn't too long a meeting. Thank you for making yourself available. I will share the recording with everyone just so that everyone does have access to it for this, for this meeting. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, Kish.